In the sense that this provision of the power for any information worker, i.e. anybody who has information as a significant component of their daily job, if you can provide them with a tool that they can swim around their data in any way they like, in a fashion that is very personalised to them, that is empowerment. Again, it's an issue of not predetermining what an information user may ask or wish to ask of their data. Because I would say that it's like buying a newspaper. You don't buy a newspaper knowing what the content of the newspaper is. You buy it because there's a serendipitous opportunity to discover things you didn't know that was there. You turn over the page and all of a sudden there's an article that catches your eye and you say, wow, I didn't know, that's interesting, I will read it, I need to know more. That is exactly the same process as when you expose data to people who understand the data. They'll see insights into that information they would otherwise never see or perhaps never explore. Or in fact they just confirm things they've long thought to be true but never had the evidence to support their opinions. So I think this empowerment is providing people with the opportunity to explore data in an unconstrained way. There is a balance between simplicity and power, but it's not an exclusivity. Is that meaning you just because a product is simple doesn't make it not powerful? I think it's more likely a correlation is the other way around, particularly if you compare it with traditional BI. They've had to compromise simplicity for the sake of power. They haven't got a simple architecture. They've put a very complex architecture into modern technology, restrained the power, and made it much more complex. So I think the issue of simplicity is a core to modern BI. Is for intelligence products to work, or BI intelligence products to work, and if you wish to empower the user, they have to be simple enough to use. They have to get out of the way of the discussion or between the user and their data. In fact, arguably, I would say they need to become invisible, because the minute that technology becomes a barrier to exploring your data, then the technology itself is not doing the right job. It's become too complex. Now, that's not the same as is it doing powerful, sophisticated things behind the scene. And I would perhaps draw an analogy with Apple. Apple are the masters at taking a very complex technology challenges and make it simple and intuitive to use. And if we can become anything like Apple in deploying BI in an Apple-like way, then I think we have cracked the BI problem. I think that's interesting. I think undoubtedly the technology, the underlying infrastructure is going to become more and more powerful. I think Moore's Law will continue to march at the drumbeat that it has for the past. So things will become faster, more memory. So again, the likes of QlikView would actually exploit that technological advance linearly. So the more memory, the more processing power, great. Without us doing anything, we will get bigger, better and bigger and be able to do bigger and better tasks. But I think if you were talking about sort of non-linear improvements in BI usage, I think we need to look at broader than BI. I think we need to look at areas like community and social support for social activity or social communities using technology. I think the concept of community and collaboration is going to be very strong. I think the concept in the past is the individual making a decision. I think the concept in the future is that we would build a decision collaborating with others. So one person's deliberations will be built and exploited by somebody else's, and therefore a team will create a decision, or the opportunity to exploit collaboration across the globe, so we actually get insight and innovation that we'd otherwise not get because we were very siloed and very, very specific to the individual in the past. So I think that's one thing that is likely to happen. I think this all draws on also the concept of mobility. Is so why shouldn't we be able to provide tools to people wherever they make their decisions? And their decisions will be in the home, it could be up a flagpole, it could be sitting at their desk, and therefore the concept of mobility, mobile devices, the iPad, phones, etc. This will be the main access to business intelligence products of the future. Machine to machine, potentially. Why can't one machine use a BI middle layer to talk to another. So you take the analytics from a production line, it feeds into an analytics engine, the results of the analysis is then output for improvements in the production process without a human being involved. So I think there's a huge evolution that's just starting. We're just at the beginning of a very exciting era of business intelligence. I think the primary question is not a technological one. I think if people get hung up on technology, I think they are falling into a trap of the gadgets. I must have something with more buttons and more flashy lights than the next person. I think the real question to ask from a business point of view is, what value is it going to generate for me as a business? When can I see a return on my investment? And I would question it. If you're talking in months, or even years maybe, then I would run very fast in the opposite direction. However, if you can deliver BI in days and weeks and get proof that you can add bottom line value to your business, then I would grab it with both hands. Because the proposition of being given being asked for $50 and being given $500 in return, very compelling. So I think at the end of the day, it has to be a business decision based on business value. Well, I think it's always best to listen to everybody, of course, and make your own mind up. But I think if you're motivated by driving what's best for the business, then again I would go back to the question is that not to be a religious bigot regarding any technology and say, well, we've got to maintain our technology purity around a certain approach that may be 20 years old, is to say, well, hey, if we can actually improve our business and get a return on our investment in a very short time, and this involves adopting a new technology, then why not? And I think so. Therefore, I think the decision comes back to a business one.